Good morning, Richard Eckley here. Happy Tuesday morning to you. Not a bad day here in Swansea. Happy days. We're on a Tuesday, on a Wealth Tuesday on your 4 keys to a healthier, happier you. And I'm actually in the middle of reading Warren Buffett's book, Snowball. He's a multi-billionaire investor in the stock market and things like that. And it just goes through his life story of how he sort of got where he was. I mean, at one point, he was the wealthiest man in the USA. I said a multi-billionaire. I said how he actually started all off. He didn't have some money to start off with. He was just a young lad, same as everyone else. And he had no money. But when he got some work, he actually, first of all, he researched the stock. He was always interested in the stock market and how people made money. So he did the research, first of all, into that area. Then the first thing he said he did, most importantly, was he lived within his means. He was a bit tight, if you like, in some ways. But whatever he earned, he always saved some money to what he earned. He always lived within his means. He never sort of borrowed on debt. He never got into debt. He always lived, whatever he earned on his income, he always lived below that. So there was always that little bit there, and that's what he'd always invest. And he just kept building that up. First of all, into savings, first of all. Then once he'd done his research, he found a mentor who was good up in the stock market, knew his stuff, researched all his stuff as well, and then he started to invest in there. But small amounts, and he invested on safe investments, he said. He never went for the big risk to earn some big money straight away. He never did that. He invested on small bits, just at a small interest rate, so it was small, but it was more like a guarantee, it was less risk. And this then built up over time with compound interest. But he continued to invest. He said he always lived within his means. He always lived frugal. People used to say he could then, when he sort of millions even, he could have bought these posh houses and all this stuff, but he still lived frugally within his means for years and years. But he still invested all this money. So all the money he was earning, big money, he was reinvesting it again. So that's what the compound interest then kicked in on top of that. And that enabled him to, over the years, to create massive wealth, huge wealth. He said at one point the wealthiest man in the USA, amazing, multi-billionaire. But he said he only did this by starting off, first of all, by just living within his means first. So he had that little bit of a buffer, so that's what he could invest. He could start to save some money, first of all. Once he built up enough savings, he could then start to invest that. And then he said before, you only risk the money he could lose. He didn't mind losing. He didn't want to lose, but he never sort of affected his lifestyle, because he lived a low lifestyle. And then he had this buffer bit in between, which is the amount he could invest. And if he did lose that, it didn't affect his lifestyle, because his lifestyle was covered with the way he lived. And that was an amazing way to look at things. And just said again, over time with the compound interest, he said doing the certain investments and researching what he was doing enabled him to develop multi-billionaire and just, have the lifestyle he wanted then. He had the choice then. But he said it was weird, because the way he'd always lived within his means, it was hard for him then to change it, not suddenly, but to spend all this wealth everywhere, because that's not how he lived. How he lived his life is how he created his wealth, and that's how he maintained his wealth, but still living that same life. A lot of people sort of chase money, want to get money, and they get the money, and then they go out and blow it on all this like posh cars or big houses or massive holidays, and the money's gone because they haven't got a wealth mindset. To have a wealth mindset, first of all, you work out what your living standard is. You then, and what the money you got coming in, you then live slightly below that, so you're not getting yourself in debt. You pay off any debts you've got, and then you maintain that balance. So you always, if anything problems you've got a buffer, and your living standard doesn't change. Well, a lot of people raise their money up, get some more money coming in, then blow it all on a new lifestyle with all its extravagance, but they're living then above their lifestyle, then the problem happens, and they go bankrupt and they've got problems. That's a lot of people happen with that win the lottery. They sort of have these millions come in, they think, I've got millions now. Then they're not sure how to work with it. They sort of raise their living standard for this £1 million, but that's just come in one lump sum. It's not an ongoing money, and then it's blown and gone. And then before they know it, they're bankrupt. They've blown all their money, and they're worse off than they were before they had the million, because they haven't got the wealth mindset, which is about living within your means first, learning to save, learning to invest, and then you move forward slowly up and down. And that's the way long-term wealth is developed. Like it says, long term. So once you get a basic format of how you're going to live your life, you work at what you're doing. It doesn't matter what money you got coming in. If you maintain that lifestyle, you can increase it a little bit now and again if you want to. But once you've got that buffer there, always there, and you move that on through, that's how you just have a good wealth in lifestyle and in years to come. So it was an interesting read, I said Warren Buffett's book Snowball, very interesting. I mean, it goes through actually all the years of his life, and I'm up to 1998 at the moment. So it's just going on through stuff he's done and challenges he faced, and money he lost, and many investments there, and problems that happened. So it's an interesting read. But there you are. Have yourself a good day today, whatever you're doing. All the best.